the new version of NovaForge. So my name is Goulven Lejeune. I'm working at Bureau for a few years now, and since the beginning of the year I'm leading the NovaForge team and leading the development of the new version. So today I'm going to present this version, the V3. So first, the first question, what is NovaForge? In fact, it's a tool set. So yesterday, the CEO of Usersoft used an analogy that I liked. He spoke about road, describing the infrastructure, and cars being the software. NovaForge will, in fact, help you to build better cars, so better software, being more reliable and secured. How do we do that? So, in fact, it's all about tooling and process in the development. So there are 5 objectives to NovaForge. I will go through them one after the other. So the first objective is to provide a collaborative tool. So a tool where all the people from the development team will be able to interact and use to be able to share good practices and tooling. The development itself, when you are developing software, you need some tooling, and NovaForge will provide you some flexible environment to be able to develop your software. When you are developing your software, you need also some integration tooling, so to be able to integrate and do some quality testing all around your development process. And often there is somewhere some kind of project leader or manager that wants to pilot or to see how the project is going. So in fact what NovaForge will do there is give the possibility to have some information about how the project is going. And last but not least, the good practices, what you often want to do when you are in a big company like Bureau, is to have some good practices about coding, about the process of development, about documentation, format, or this kind of information. And there also NovaForge will propose some tooling to share all those good practices. So what is NovaForge? NovaForge is an industrial open source platform. All those words are important. Why industrial? Because it has been built for years for Bureau and by Bureau, but for Bureau, for the internal usage of the service part of Bureau. So it is the production tooling of Bureau. So that's for the industrial part. Open source, it's one of the members of OW2. Everything in NovaForge is open source under an open source license. And it's based on open source product as well. So based on different ways. It's based on open source to build the Forge layout itself, but it's also composed of open source projects to propose the different tooling. Some history about NovaForge. It has been existing for about 7 to 8 years now. The first version was in fact based on GForge, so a PHP Forge, the old way, I would say, but at that time that was the standard, I would say. At the beginning, as I said, it was aimed at proposing tooling for build service. So the first real objective was this. And then afterwards, it became one of the advantage that Bull could propose to his customer. And this is why it has been first used by Bull France, and then proposed to customers like bread or this kind of things. Then about 4 years ago, a new version appeared, changing completely the technology. There it went to a Java platform, and with much more possibilities, and especially some continuous integration or this kind of things. Document validation was based on EXO, which is also a project in OW2. And at that time, it became the official tooling of Bull. So that means that Bull management said all over the world that for the production of the project of Bull service, the team had to use NovaForge. So there is still, this is the version that is still in production in Bull. And there is around 200 projects and 900 active users of this V2 still today, just for Bull France. And then there are some other instances in Brazil, Spain, and in a few customers such as Schneider, some universities, and local administration. And then 2 years ago, there was again a big curve for NovaForge. And in fact, the French Ministry of Defense chose Bull to develop its forge. So in fact, its tooling for all the French Defense Ministry development had to be based on tooling that would be provided by Bull. So at that time, it was decided to start again a new version, with a new architecture based on the experience of the V2, still Java-based, but with some slight changes, such as being really service-oriented architecture-based. We'll see all the details afterwards. This forge has been developed and driven by the French Ministry of Defense needs. It is already in production in Bull as a pilot since the beginning of 2012, and will go in real production beginning of next year. Big team, around 20 developers, just developers, divided both in Paris and in Grenoble. So in fact, the idea of NovaForge is to propose some functional tooling categories, and then after that, for each functional categories, propose the possibility to use one or more technical tool. So, 5 minutes. I'm being too talkative, but anyway, I will go faster. So it goes all the way from the requirement management to the source cost management, the bug tracker, documentation, test management, and all the way to the deliverable. So it draws the entire process of your development. So the tooling, we are trying to integrate what is the best in the open source world for each of those steps. So the idea here, you have a few names. I will not go through all of them. You probably know them all. Just one point I want to mention here is that of course, there are some functional parts that are not addressed by the open source world, and for those we do some internal development. This is the case for the requirement module. So at the moment I'm speaking, we have 14 functional domains, and to those 14 functional domains we have integrated 14 tools, so one for each at the moment. So it goes, as I said, all the way from content management, all the way to a mailing list, survey, wiki, whatever you can need during your development project. The strengths of this new version, what makes it different from what has been done before. The first big thing is the concept of plugin that we have proposed in this V3. The idea here is that each component, each technical tool is integrated in the Forge as a plugin. What it gives there is it gives the possibility to integrate new tools pretty easily. For instance, at the moment we have Mantis as the bug tracker. We plan to integrate Jira probably beginning of next year. The same for source code management. We have SVN. We'll have Git at beginning of next year as well. So the architecture of the whole Forge is organized so that we can add new tool for each functional domain pretty easily. And then what happens is that each project, when it's building its project, choose what tooling is gonna use. So he says, okay, I want a bug tracker, and then he chooses which bug tracker he wants. Inter-plugin communication, this is one of the strengths of the Forge. If we were just doing integration of tooling, Mantis, SVN and things, then that would not have that much interest. What we propose more is the possibility to make those tools communicate. For instance, we have an integrated testing tool, which is called TestLink. And the idea here is you have the tester that is running the test, and he sees the test is not running. Then he can send directly from TestLink a bug and create a bug, and then everything is done. Multi-instantiation of components. This is also something we have seen that was missing in the V2, and that is pretty useful. It's usually in a project you want to have not only one bug tracker, for instance, but you want to have several. One for the customer side and one for the team side, for instance. There you have the possibility to instantiate Mantis several times. You have the possibility to have several wiki or whatever. I will go faster there, yeah. So cooperating Forge, this is also something pretty innovative. The idea here is not to propose just one single instance of the Forge, but to be able to have a grape of forges that are communicating together both ways. So downwards from one master forge to all the slave forge, to push some good practices, for instance, the documents or templates or these kind of things. And the other way around, upward, to be able to gather some indicator from the slave forge all the way to the master's forge. My last slide. Strengths, project template. As I said, you are completely free when you want to create your project to set which tool you are going to use, what will be the right given to each user on each tool. This is flexible, but it's pretty long to do. So what we propose there is some templates so that when you create your project, it's directly configured the way it was defined by the template. Reference project is something else that is interesting. Delivery management, I want to focus on that quickly before I'm too late. Delivery management there, it's also a tool that was developed by Bill itself. The idea here is you are developing your project and developing your software, and at what moment you want to deliver it. So you want to deliver probably some source code, you want to deliver some documentation, some executable, and all those kind of things. And also you want to provide some kind of bug references that you have solved in this release. What this tool will do is that it will do all that for you, and a lot of other things. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, so my name is Gérard Dupont. I'm a research engineer at Lejeune, and so yes.